So there's one thing I learned about this job. I'm from South Georgia. Actually, I'm a basketball coach, but we don't tell anybody in South Georgia that, because that's where I get to hang out with all the football coaches and have a lot of fun. I am honored to be here, but to do the one thing that means a lot to me, and is to really introduce my friend Dale Williams to the Georgia Athletic Coaches Hall of Fame. In 1975, I was in Northside, and I came for an interview in Waycross, Georgia, and Coach Williams blessed me by hiring me to be a football coach and a girls basketball coach. And he really gave me an opportunity that really changed my life, because my ambition was to be a head football coach. But once I became on Coach Williams' staff, I had no desire to be a head coach, because I was the head coach in my own right. And for you to, if you really do not know Dale, there's a couple things I'm going to tell you before I tell you about his stats. He's a very unique individual. That's one thing I can definitely tell you. As a coach, he always allowed all his coaches to make a lot of mistakes, and he was always kind of nearby to kind of pat us on the back and tell us what we needed to do, but he never really crawled your butt too much. And he always taught us as his coach and his players, and this has stuck with me for all my life, that there's more than one way to skin a cat. You know, one system does not always work. His unique offensive philosophy was whatever talent he had, the system changed. He had the unique ability to see a young man in the 9th to 10th grade and project what he will be as a senior and where he could be and where he could play. Because even at, when we was at Waycross, we played 22 players. We two-platooned almost exclusively, and each person earned their right. You know, there's one thing that he has taught me, and probably all his players and coaches today will tell you, that got a little plaque. Thanks, Carolyn. That patience is a coach's greatest virtue. And I think he learned this from Coach Bazemore. He played football under Coach Bazemore, and I think that has continued to guide his life and his coaching philosophy all these years. Another thing is, Coach Williams, you know him real well. If you do not have any jokes, you know, it's not good. You must tell Coach Williams a joke. He doesn't remember quite as well as he used to, so sometimes you may have to repeat it, you know. So, but you need to be sure he has jokes. Coach Williams, he was coached for 31 years. I think he was at Dodge, Baker. He finished up the majority of his years at Waycross High School and at Ware County High School. He won over 233 wins, 118 losses, had 3 ties. He won 2 state championships and 8 region titles. He's been on the Georgia High School Association. He's coached the North-South All-Star game. He's also inducted into the Waycross Sports Hall of Fame, as well as the Ware County Sports Hall of Fame. And because of his great success, and I think his greatest success is like events like this and the coaches tournament, where we get to see Milt, Griff, all the coaches, John. We play a lot of golf. Have a great time. And really, after telling you about his bio just a little bit, there's a couple things I want to share with you. One, I want to tell you about a couple things about the man. One, you know, he's friendly, he's warm, he's caring, he loves his joke. He's been a husband for 49 years to Carolyn, his childhood sweetheart. And that's a blessing, isn't it, Carolyn? And I'm gonna really tell the truth. It's only been 2 years. 2 years it wasn't very good, and that's when Todd, his son, was quarterback at Waycross High School, and Dale was the head coach, and Mom has always been Dale's #1 fan, except maybe for those 2 years. I do have a few words I want to share with you about some of the former players that you got. Guy that first played for Dale, Randy Scott, played at Auburn, and he was the 2002-2003 teacher year in Florida. And he said the most memorable thing about Coach Williams was his care and concern for each of his players. What's that word? Contribute? I do this in my class. I can't pronounce words.
A tribute, Coach.
A tribute, okay. Much of my success in life to Coach Williams, especially my interest in education. Another graduate of Waycross High School and the state championship quarterback and played at University of Georgia says this also. He said, Coach Williams is the epitome of what a high school coach should strive to become and emulate. As a water boy in the 1970s, I witnessed young boys become men right before my eyes as a result of his leadership. This was his son, Todd Williams. And we've had others, you know, Jim Smart, who became a doctor, said Coach Williams with the pearl was taking young men from every different background, social stressors, whatever they were, and making winners of them on the field, but more or less throughout their lives. Dale has taught life lessons that most of his players have remembered. And the judge in Ware County, you know, Judge Boggs said, winners never quit, quitters never win. He remembers that to the day. And like I said, I'm gonna make this very short and sweet. I think a lot of this man, I love him to death. And I want to thank the GACA Hall of Fame for the opportunity for me to share my thoughts about Coach Williams. And if Carolyn, Tracy, Todd, if y'all stand up in family, stand up. I would like to simply now want to introduce you to the winningest football coach in Waycross and Ware County, Coach Dale Williams.